What's going on, people? It's your boy Miquiel. I'm back. Miquiel Banks, MB, the hip hop evangelist. And today's episode is a question. What is Atlanta hip hop culture, and why or how is it unique than the other ones? So in Atlanta, it's the reason why Atlanta is so unique as a hip hop culture, because it's not one thing, it's a combination of all these different cultures that are overlapping. So, you know, we're Southern, we got the red clay, we got our slang, we got our swag, you know, we got blueberries, blackberries, got muscadines. You know, for Atlanta to be what y'all consider a major city, when I grew up in Kings Ridge, my mother used to give me brown paper bags and I used to walk down the hill into the back and go pick blackberries. I could pick blackberries and muscadines back there. I would give it back to my mother. She would make blackberry cobbler. This is King Ridge Apartments. This is up the hill. If you go to Therrell High School, right, and you go up the hill to that stop sign, there are, I think they're townhomes, but they're there. There used to be Kings Ridge, and I'm telling you, that's what we did. So was Kings Ridge country? Was Atlanta country? I don't, you know, a lot of people use this term. A lot of people don't also know that calling someone country can be derogatory, and some people might be offended by it. Me, I'm not gonna argue with y'all because y'all think y'all know everything. So what is this culture? So we got a lot of overlapping culture. So let's talk about a few of them. So for me as a rapper, you got the talent shows, you got people going out to parties. Believe it or not, the MARTA buses are a major power because none of us had cars. A few of us did. I think Chauncey had a VW Bug. Toomp may have had a car, but the rest of us was on the bus. So MARTA's a major part of the early hip hop culture. And we got, okay, so we got talent shows, we got dancing, we got partying, the skating rinks. So now the skating rinks are a major influence of the early days of hip hop, especially in ATL. So let's talk about a major power that people may have forgotten. Atlanta is powerful for our fashion. A lot of you don't know this, but when we came up, there was a wing of hip hop called the 5-Point Prep. And I'm telling y'all, please don't disrespect these folks. These folks, y'all think y'all serious about fashion. Nobody was more serious about fashion than the 5-Point Preps. If you go to 5 Points, they post it up. And when I tell you, there was a book that we was reading back then. It was called, oh my goodness, what was it? The Prep's Guide, the Person's Guide to Being a Prep or whatever. There was a book, a handbook of prep culture. We took that book, read it, and we took off with it. And I'm telling you, a 5-Point Prep was the greatest force when it came to fashion. A lot of you don't believe me. So let's talk about this. Look at New Edition, right? New Edition was up in Boston. Go back and look at their history. New Edition was up there, then they migrated and came down here. Bobby Brown even opened up Bosstown over on Northside Drive. If you go back and look at New Edition, look at when they discovered Boys to Men. Because Boys to Men, if you look at how they dress, that's what we would call a 5-Point Prep. And yeah, I know y'all saw it. Defense, major defense, SAF. So the way Boys to Men dress, that's a stripped down version of the 5-Point Preps. So man, you had all kinds of 5-Point Preps. You had really, really deep 5-Point Preps. Rory Smith from Kings Ridge was a major 5-Point Prep, major 5-Point Prep. But he was like a 5-Point Prep because he was focused on wearing Stan Smith Adidas and jeans and the polo stuff. That's a certain kind of prep, certain kind of 5-Point Prep. Now, you got to also remember now, growing up in ATL in the 80s, all of us used to wear Sebagos, polos. See, that's like middle school. That was a type of middle school. But when we got to high school, the 5-point preps took that and took the prep culture and they took off, Shawty. When I tell you they took off, one hand, jump if you want to. Jump, jump. So Rory, he was a Stan Smith blue jean polo kind of, he's the kind of guy that wore like polo shirt, matching, because that had a lot to do with how we dressed. Because we was in like 7th and 8th grade, I went to Bunch Middle School. It was all about a polo shirt, a polo belt, blue jeans, polo socks, and Sebagos. That was it, hooping. So that was his thing. Now, Jan and Van from Southside High School, that was Rory's cousin, Rory Smith. They went to high school with me because I left there and I went to Southside. Jan and Van were really, these are what you call professional 5-point preps. So they were more along the tennis rackets, the golf, that type of thing, man. I'm telling you, Jan and Van was serious, bro. They used to wear the V-neck sweaters. I think those were tennis sweaters, Izod, with the turtlenecks. For example, the way Carlton dresses in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, that's a low-budget slut version of a 5-point prep, Jan and Van. Man, these guys were serious, you hear me? Bro, you would go to 5 points, and they would just, bro, they were like mannequins. 5-point preps would just stand there. They'd be like in the corner. They'd be like mannequins. They just standing there, bro. And you'll be looking like, what he doing? But that's a 5-point prep. Bro, Jan and Van them had the tennis rackets, the golf bags, golf clubs, bro, the Tretons, Sebagos. Oh my goodness. Genera collection came out. They was wearing that, bro. Brooks Brothers, all of that stuff, man. Plaid blazers. That was it. So for me, I'm disappointed because I don't know why that part of the culture died. Man, they need to bring that back. 5 points preps. Okay, so is that it? I think that's it. So there are many cultures, but I think that's a good overview. And again, this episode was about what is Atlanta hip-hop culture and how is it unique in all of hip-hop.